Right.
But the CGI also on Netflix is coming out in August with season 3.
I know Sean's excited.
Oh, I am. I told my son, and my son got really pumped too because he's still like he hasn't gone back to season 2 as readily as season 1.
Oh,
But when I bring it up to him, he's still wanting to see what happens next. So
nice.
yeah, I cannot. I don't even. I don't know how that show managed to work its way into my heart the way it did. But man, I love that. It's just fun. I need fun some days. I'm tired of
Yeah.
adulting. Give me He-Man and Skeletor slow dancing for a little while. You know what? Ha ha, I'm good.
It's comfort. It can be comfort food.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's a fun way to do. It's basically an Elseworlds with Masters of the Universe. Okay, let's take it a different way and give them a new version of it that they wouldn't expect some of these things. And some of it worked, some of it didn't. Like Muscatara for me in season 2 was kind of a misfire. But
Yeah.
then, like the way that they dealt with the Tiger Tribe in the first season, the way that they dealt with Ram Man becoming Rampage, and I was like, holy crap, there's some really good stuff in this. Even though, like, for me, I'd say it's like an 80-20 positive over negative. There's
Yeah.
still, it's not everything's going to fire on all cylinders, but the stuff that works for me is like, I love it. It just works.
Yeah.
Triclops. That's the other one. I love the way that it did Triclops in this. So yeah, it's bring it on. August, get here quickly. I need more stuff.
I know I'm looking forward to it too. And like you said, it is an world, but it had like a filmation quality that made it attractive,
Mm-hmm.
where it was familiar, comforting,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's the modern technology and definitely not the filmation style, but it had that spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Well,
think that captured a lot of the kids too.
absolutely. And the one thing I absolutely love about this, and this is why Revelation for me is still like I like that it's there, but it didn't grab me the same way, is the rules. The storytelling rules in this series hasn't been cobbled together in a way where it's like, well, we're borrowing from this, but we're going to do this, and it's like that whole thing drove me nuts. If Revelation would have been its own thing from the beginning on, don't even worry about filmation. Tell the story of Masters in an updated animated style. Awesome. I would have been completely like, okay, Teela can get out of Castle Grayskull as a sorceress now without being Zor. Cool. Okay, that's your version of it. That's kind of why I like the CGI, because it's like I don't know the rules to this. I'm learning as I go, just like they are, and they're sticking to a lot of that stuff really nicely. So it's like if there's a rule, it keeps flowing through the show and everything. So, and I mean, season 3 looks like it'll be pretty epic with everything that they're building up in season 2, and I'm like, yeah, I got to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure know how to put together a story, and it's
Yeah.
got some fun looking toys, and they're getting ready to release a playset, and yeah.
Those toys are all over my basement floor right now from all the battles that my son and I have fought. And we got the Power of Grayskull, the translucent figure, and I had that as mine for a little bit. And then he's like, "Can I have that one?" And I'm like, all right, I like that one. I'm like, all right, fine. So then the next thing I see is him take all of his figures and he puts He-Man on top of a shelf and he goes, "Masters, all power on me." I go, "Oh, dude, you just made me so proud." Like he's taking moments from the show and applying them to his play, and I'm like, this is so cool. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, didn't you feel like you were passing the torch?
Yeah, honestly, it like Revelation was too intense, and
Yeah.
my daughter, like the whole when they did Savage He-Man or the Hulk He-Man, whatever you want to call him, that whole episode, my wife was watching with the kids and me at the same time, and my wife was looking at me like, "This is nuts!" Like, as in, like, this is intense. He's like literally trying to kill Skeletor. I go, I
Yeah.
know, didn't expect it to be as intense as it gets here and all this. So like for my kids, my daughter absolutely thinks Tila is amazing on that show, and she loves anytime they do their cross power moments and stuff, and
Right.
like He-Man and Tila teaming up, and they have like the cosmic Zor / Power Grayskull Zor and all that, and she eats that up. My son, he thinks all these characters are great and they're fun, and he picks up the toys and wants to really play. And it's like, man, I remember being a kid sitting on my parents' living room floor doing this after Filmation would be over. I'd bring out all my He-Man figures and go nuts. And I'm like, my son's doing the same dang thing, and it's great. So, and we can talk about these things, which is really cool. Like I'm sharing, and he actually cares what I'm talking to him about for once, which is really cool.
Well, and it's kind of under the radar of the hate machine online, right? So you don't have this surge of hatred being directed at the show, at least not that I'm aware of.
I want to say there are a few videos here and there where I'm sure on YouTube you'll find them where there's people that are going to be haters are going to hate, basically.
Sure.
Yeah. But I have not heard nearly the amount of toxicity towards this show as Revelation because of that pedigree of saying it's a spiritual successor. So everybody was expecting one thing. And if you don't get that, they're going to lose their minds. And again, that's kind of why if they would have done Revelation where it was its own story and you just say, we're going to take elements of the look of Filmation, but we're going to make it into this own show, and that I think it would have been less negatively received by certain people, maybe. But hindsight and all that, I really can't say. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
You think one thing, and then that would have backfired harder, maybe. For all I know, they would have gone my route too. So
yeah.